What's up, everyone? Andre here, along with Tom and Jake, to check out the MetaQuest Gaming Showcase. I'm curious about this, and Jake, I know you've more recently become, I think, a VR enthusiast. Is that momentum maintaining itself? Are you kind of off the VR train at this point?
No, go on the VR
Good. All right.
train.
Good.
I love my PSVR 2. Beat Saber just came out over there, having the time of my life.
That is awesome. Beat Saber is such a great game. So that
Yeah.
just came to PSVR 2,
It
or?
just came out like this past week, yeah.
Oh, that's such a perfect game for it. Like that is
Mhm.
still like one of the best showcases for VR. It's like, look how awesome this is. You can't really do it outside of VR. If you could, it wouldn't be nearly as good. So
Mhm.
that's great.
Yeah.
I see some hearts in the chat. Hey, Nintendo man, how's it going? So yeah, I'm myself. I don't know if I would. I'm a soft VR enthusiast. Like I'm excited by the technology. I like the platforms. I don't play all that much VR though. Like I feel like as soon as I get over, like once I put that headset down for a couple of days, I forget about it. So I need something. What I'm looking for here is something big to pull me back in. I want to play more VR. Like I was so on the Among Us VR train for a while until one
Oh
day
yeah.
I didn't play it and I haven't gone back since, Jake. So,
Right.
Tom, but I know you also have an Oculus Quest 2, and of
Yes,
course,
I'm going to put it on right now. Hold
oh
on.
man,
Here we go.
Wait a second.
the best VR platform. Heck yeah.
Yeah, I do have it, but it's been a while. There hasn't been something to pull me back in, like you said. It's fun, and then I get too much stuff on my floor, and I don't have room to play VR anymore. So
Yeah, that's actually a real reality of VR is that for the it's funny because I found myself like in general I prefer having that large area to move around in because I just think it adds
Mhm.
to the immersion. But it reaches a point where I just stop caring. I just sit down and play. Like
Yeah.
unless you have to, I'm just sitting there and hoping that the game has a crouch button that lets me stand up and sit down again. Uh,
for me though, just quickly, I'd say the Quest 2 is my favorite in terms of ease of like getting into it quickly compared to
And
the others.
that's exactly why I think this is exciting right now because they just announced the what is it, the MetaQuest 3, I guess. I probably
Yeah.
called the wrong thing earlier. I'm so used to the Oculus Quest, the MetaQuest, my mistake. Or I guess no, it wasn't because technically it was still the Oculus when we had it, Tom, before they changed the name. I still
I
can't believe
know.
you can do that. You can't change a console's name after it came out. But they
Yeah.
can now with a third one, which they just announced, I believe, at a $500 price point. They promise higher resolution screens, sharper visuals. It has a full color pass through now, which apparently is going to allow for augmented reality stuff based on the trailer. So that's all exciting, and it makes me wonder if I feel like this timing is not coincidental because we know I think on Monday Apple's having their showcase where they're apparently showing off their upcoming VR AR headset thing. And I feel like Oculus trying to get ahead of the game here. Now, they are targeting two entirely different demographics. Based on Apple, it sounds like it's going to be thousands of dollars. This one's, not even half it, or is just half a grand, which is substantially cheaper. But I'm very curious to see what's happening now in the VR space. But it does seem like there's a bit of an uptick in terms of, like, hardware interest, given the fact that Apple's entering the game.
Wow. I've been suffering from major brand confusion because I gotta tell you, I've been hearing about this Apple one, and then this got announced this morning, and in my brain I just melded them together. And you just said, "Oh, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a different thing." I can't believe it. So yeah, this is crazy. I'm kind of interested in what the MetaQuest 3 looks like. I was surprised to hear from Tom that you prefer that's your favorite one is the MetaQuest 2 out of all the VR platforms you've tried.
I mean, besides,
I
obviously, Labo VR.
Yeah,
Right.
but I haven't had the any of the PlayStation ones at home though. I've only tried PlayStation and Expo. I was impressed at an
Yeah.
Expo of the original PlayStation VR, but compared
Okay.
to the Valve Index,
Yeah.
or that, or the Vive or whatever it was, that was cumbersome to set up for sure.
Okay, because I gotta tell you, you guys sent over to me that MetaQuest 2 that I've got over there somewhere. And I like put it on, I like tried a couple of game demos, and having been using the PSVR 2 a lot, I took that thing off and went, no. This is, and it's hard for me to go back.
Yeah, I can totally see that because the PSVR 2 uses PS5 for its technology, whereas
Yeah.
the Oculus MetaQuest is using, cell phone technology, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
So I can see that being a dramatic step down in visuals, but what I do like about the Quest, a couple of things. One, it's a self-contained platform, so it's that's all you need, and that itself is cheaper than the PSVR 2, I think, by itself. So you're getting an entire platform instead of just an accessory that requires another system. Also, I like the fact that it's completely wireless because it's self-contained. No wires.
Right.
Like, that does drive me nuts in the PSVR 2. I hate the fact that I have to have this cable like draped over my shoulder, if I'm rocking around, which is fine if you're sitting down otherwise. But then again, the graphics are amazing on PSVR 2. You've got the vibration, the feedback in the headset itself, which is a really neat touch, and it has a couple other cool things as well. But here we go, MetaQuest stepping up the game with a system twice as powerful, evidently, as the 2. So we'll see if that can close the gap a little bit there, Jake.
Is your stream going right now? I had a reaction because my video, it started rolling right into this crazy
It's a free
trailer.
show. Free show.
Okay,
yeah.
Perfect.
I was
Yep.
like, whoa,
I'm
jeez.
glad you mentioned that. We're gonna let me get that out there. So
Something crazy is happening on
So-
screen right now.
I guess with the Quest 3, we'll see if it's 2 phones duct taped together or something comparable to PlayStation VR 2. So-
Yeah, it's funny. I know that the wire is supposed to bother me, but if I'm being entirely emotionally honest, the wire doesn't. I think I just have a good setup. I don't know.
Yeah.
It has never entered my mind when I'm actually playing a game. And I gotta say that Horizon Call of the Mountain, that was pretty much I went, this is what I want from this platform. I want games like this.
yeah, see, I'm so jealous because I think you had that as well when you were first VR experiences, right?
Yeah.
I'm so used to VR now, like, it didn't do anything for me. I'm like, I've seen all this stuff before, like, they had the part of the crayons you're drawing on the wall. I did that in Half-Life Alyx with markers.
Sure.
But I can totally, as a first experience, I think that game would be hard to match. Like, it's that, Half-Life Alyx, and maybe a handful of others. But I'm waiting for now, like, I want to see what's next. Because I think what annoyed me with Horizon was just how on rails it was, how linear that game was. I want something that pushes the platform beyond that, And I feel like we are still waiting for those moments. Like, this upsets me about Tears of the Kingdom. One of my favorite VR games has been Breath of the Wild, a game that did legit nothing inherent to the platform. It is just the game now in stereoscopic 3D, and it was amazing. Like, I want more experiences like that, that feel more like normal games, for lack of a better word. Not that a game that takes full advantage of VR can't be good, because I play many great games in that way. But like, look, one of my favorite games was Among Us VR, and that's based on the Solo Foundation. So I'm curious to see what they can show off today. If they can show off anything here that will get me fully back on board,
Just real quick, the only thing I can think about that is they did get Grand Theft Auto rights for Quest, so maybe we will see that today.
I didn't know about that.
If
Really?
they show Grand Theft Auto, that'd be huge. Like, was it to the back catalog then, Tom?
Yeah, the back catalog, yeah.
Oh.
One of them.
That's a cool idea. Yeah, that'd be interesting to see. Because I feel like there is like a little bit of a lineage of some open world games getting like VR versions and those being moved over to the platform in that way. I remember like Borderlands showed up in VR one day. Maybe there was a Skyrim. Did I make that up? Skyrim VR? That's a thing? I think so.
It might be a mod. I don't think it's an official. Maybe it is.
Really?
I don't know. If it is,
Okay.
I did not hear about that.
Yeah.
Harley says completely agree. Third-person experiences in VR are severely underrated. Yeah, that's more what I was getting at. I feel like I don't know why third-person has largely been ignored. We've had the Mario the Nintendo VR examples. We've had what's it called? I want to call it Moist. It's not Moist. The little rat
Moss.
game, the mouse game.
Moss.
Thank you.
Well, there's Lucky's Tale too.
Lucky's Tale as well. There's been a handful of them, but I feel like there's so much more potential there. Like, if you just give me like Fortnite in VR, I will play it that way. Give me Fortnite in VR, third person. I don't need anything.
That's
new,
interesting.
right?
Yeah, that's interesting. I almost wonder if you'd have like because obviously we can play anything we want in like cinematic mode, but what you're asking for is that full view.
The full view, full stereoscopic. Yeah, I don't want the flat screen like virtual TV in front of you. I need, because it feels immersive. Like, even if it's not first person, it still feels like you're there as the cameraman or something. you know?
I hear you. I think an experience I've been chasing in games lately, which is why I think I was so positive on PSVR 2, was that I'm really into. I've got my games that I know are like good podcast games or games that I play with my friends or like whatever. I've got a secondary thing going on. Like, oh, Sarah's watching TV, I'm playing this game. But anything that can really get me into a game and get me like away from my phone, honestly, and just have me like in it, that and be thoroughly entertained that whole time and not want to or have my mind wander onto other things. I've been really chasing that a little bit, and I think that's why PSVR 2 was such a positive experience for me. So anything I could see here that it's like, I don't know, I just kind of want to wander around. Some of my favorite parts in Horizon Call of the Mountain are that it changed the way that, like, I think I literally like looked around or thought about progressing in a single player linear game, where like normally we've all played enough games that I think we all kind of instinctively have that like we know where to go next. We know game design language well enough that we don't have that issue of, wait, what is the game? We know. But in Horizon Call of the Mountain, I was breathing. I was taking in the vistas. I was looking at every little thing I could pick up, being like, so what's like going on with this thing, man? I was going up to people. Oh, one of my favorite things, having a cutscene play out. Not necessarily a cutscene, but characters are talking to me and being like role playing along with it, like stepping up to people, looking them in the eye, like walking away when they say something that pisses me off. I'm like, oh, it's so much fun. I really enjoyed that part of it. So
awesome.
anything that's got that kind of juice to it, I'm looking for.
Yeah, with VR, it's kind of, there are some solutions, but it's still relatively new. So we still get new ways to figure out for developers how to make games. And so there's some surprise in them still. So there's still lots of room to be surprised.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I mean, VR is still a very young platform, and I feel like its future is like uncertain. I mean, as it kind of always has been, but it's looking better now. But it still hasn't reached that mainstream appeal. Like the the MetaQuest is the closest we've gone at this point. But even that, like, it seems like it's kind of tapering off a bit. So it needs something to really energize it, and I don't know if this showcase is going to be it. I don't know that MetaQuest 3 is going to be it. I don't know if the Apple headset's going to be it, but I feel like no one's quite nailed it yet, and I don't know why. I think I do know why. I think it's just the game selection. They haven't quite fully shown why it needs to be in VR. Not that there aren't amazing experiences, don't get me wrong. I feel like we haven't had that too many of those things that are like, this is why you need this platform, like there's a Fortnite equivalent I've played. I think God, I forget what it's called. It's fun, but it's not as fun as Fortnite. It's like I'd rather play Fortnite on my TV than this knockoff in VR because it's not as enjoyable.
Yeah, I hear you. And now that you kind of posed that question, I think the thing that one of these platforms might need, and why I think Apple might be more successful, is that I wonder if they just need more than only games. Something that always, like, man, if I could watch sports in VR, I would do it. If they had, like, you know what I mean? If there was like an online little like meeting place for me and my friends in VR, I might check that out. If there, there's stuff outside of just like turning on a game, playing a game the way that we all know how to play games, that I think VR platforms could really get a lot of bang out of.
Well, that's a whole, like, hasn't it been the whole meta angle they've been going for with their whole the meta world
Metaverse.
Metaverse, yeah. Metaverse. I can't even
that's toxic though. That's toxic. That metaverse, jeez, yeah. Oh god. Yeah, I think that's the right idea though. I think that's the right idea. I don't know if like Facebook necessarily has like the infrastructure figured out right now to point you to all these different like media apps and things like that. Maybe they do. Maybe we're gonna see some stuff here that'll be really cool. But like I don't know. Does I don't know the platform well enough. But like in my Meta headset, can I like hit Netflix right there and it takes me to a bespoke Netflix thing?
Oh man,
I think so, right?
I believe so. I think it has like standard apps. I never use it. I just use it for gaming.
Yeah,
okay.
But it has. I mean, for instance, it does have like the big. There's like a theater app you can use. You can watch movies. In the theater. I was watching like the trailer for Titanic 3D, and that actually looked really freaking cool. Seeing the 3D projected onto a virtual screen somehow made it feel more immersive than like if it
Right.
weren't on the screen. It's weird. So yeah, there's definitely apps along those lines.
Oh,
I don't know if that's
Roxas
enough,
in the
though.
chat says it does have that kind of Netflix app thing. But stay with me here. What I think it really needs is I need to see a commercial where you've got a bunch of virtual people hanging out. I'm not kidding. And there is no you press on a menu. You look over in the corner. Oh, there's the Netflix movie theater. And you run in. And you go in and you see all the stuff playing on Netflix and it goes, oh my God, Seinfeld and see Theater 4. And I run over to Theater 4. I sit down and I'm watching Seinfeld there. That's what I think it needs. I think that experience is so easy to communicate. And I think it's what people visualize when they think about like, you know, the average consumer, like the VR experience. I think like making that all happen end to end in your platform is really valuable.
Jake,
Yeah.
no, you
Yeah.
run into the theater and you're like, oh man, this is cool. But then someone turns at you and it's like, shh.
Yeah. I'm into that. That's the experience. That's the real virtual experience.
All right, so we're about to get started here. It looks like. Chat, let us know how it's sounding. If we need to turn the volume up on the video itself, let us know if it's hard for us to tell. Otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, I hope we see something exciting here. I want to be excited. I want something that'll be like, this is why you should put on your headset again, or pick up the Quest 3. So,
What do you think of that $500 price point?
I mean, for an entire platform, I don't think it's unreasonable.
Cool.
What do you think?
It's tough. I'm not 100% sure who they're going after, which is why I think I need to watch this presentation.
Yeah.
So yeah, because that price, like, yeah, it makes sense like as a game platform, but like I don't know if that's like who the MetaQuest people are, you know? The kid, like so many kids have this.
Third annual
this
MetaQuest.
oh, okay. It's happening. Here we
I'm
go.
thrilled to be back hosting.
There's
And
always
it's
a
big
risk in
day.
games. That's
This
said in
morning,
many games in
Mark
development.
Zuckerberg shared
Okay,
that
cool.
our MetaQuest 3,
Which refresh
our
MetaQuest-
next-gen
you're
VR
behind.
headset, is launching later this year.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're right.
MetaQuest 3 is our
Oh, it's
follow-up
happening.
to MetaQuest 2 and will feature advanced tech that opens up new possibilities in both VR and MR. It will also be
MR?
backwards compatible with Quest 2's entire library of over 500
Mixed
games
reality.
and apps.
Ah, right. Silly
Later
me.
in the show, we'll explore Oculus Studios' biggest and most immersive game ever with a gameplay deep dive. A game that will take advantage of MetaQuest 3's cutting-edge hardware. We have way
GTA?
more to share when MetaQuest 3 releases, including specs, more apps and experiences, and a whole slate of groundbreaking MR content. These are all stepping stones toward our long-term vision for building the metaverse. But for today's showcase, it's all about VR games. Every title you see today will be playable on both MetaQuest 2 and 3.
I don't know.
And
Microsoft
is
said that
currently
about
set to
Hollow
launch
Knight.
in the next 12 months.
We're so sorry.
So let's get started.
Oh yeah.
All right, show us something good.
Yeah,
The
let's see.
Samba de Amigo.
Oh my god. I would
Yes.
love that. Oh my maybe. Oh! Oh, I thought you were
It
joking.
is.
I thought Tom
It is.
I thought Tom was I was
Oh,
behind.
I
Yeah,
thought
I
Tom was
guess.
joking too.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Is this the one I played?
Probably
Man,
is.
I want this version now. Poor Switch.
Oh, poor Switch, dude.
Is
Who
2K
cares?
up shown
I'm
by
getting,
this?
I'm getting this one.
Or shown up. Oh man, this is too perfect.
Yeah, Roxas, you said it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Rip, absolute rip to the Switch.
Yeah,
version.
no, this is
God,
the Switch version.
destroyed.
Or Switch version. Well, they didn't say Party Central, but I'm pretty sure that's got to be the same one.
Yeah, let me see. I mean, I recognize like
Oh.
all this stuff from what I was doing.
They're just calling it Samba de Amigo on here, it looks like. That okay, that's
Whoa.
a fun way to start.
Samba
So
de
far,
Amigo
Yeah.
Good
in
start.
VR.
I wonder if it has a
I
different
cannot
track
be
list.
more
Maybe,
excited.
Maybe.
you know.
Because music is such an important part of my life. I was a professional musician for years, and at Meta, I've gotten to work with the talented teams behind a bunch of other rhythm games. Playing Samba de Amigo in VR feels like it's always
What a
fun.
strange angle
And I
for
can't
this
wait to see
presenter.
everyone
It is.
I was a
shape-shifting
musician
their
once.
maracas when Sega brings the game to the MetaQuest store this fall.
she's just relating to
Back
it.
in February, Shell Games revealed I Expect You to Die 3, Cog in the Machine.
Same key art.
Today, I can confirm that this third helping of Spy Hijinks, or Spyjinks, is coming to the
Spy
MetaQuest store
Jinx.
this year. Hopefully your skills haven't gotten too rusty, because this threequel will send agents on their most challenging mission yet. Confront more villainous villains, tackle more perilous perils.
Level 1-3 in the
and
chat.
expect to
I
die
was a
few
spy
more
once.
times.
I was just about to say that.
You don't
This is
reveal
so-
that.
Whoa.
It's so
extra life.
fulfilling for
What's
me.
this Ultra Hand thing going on right now?
Oh, nice.
Dr. Roxana Prism is a former inventor for the agency. She truly believes she can create a better agent.
Oh, hey, I'm Butler.
You'll either prove
Got
her
the
wrong,
little robot buddy.
I was
Always
gonna
key.
say, you need that now in your VR game.
you're dead in that second scenario.
Once you're dead, everyone will see just how superior my robots are to human agents.
Hey, you found some nickel. Do it again and you'll have 10 cents.
Every time we encounter Agent Phoenix, we get stronger.
Check this out. We can fly now.
It's simply a matter of time
We can.
and iteration.
They fly now.
I ate a sandwich once.
I wonder if that Samba game, the VR version, will come to PSVR 2 now.
Oh, that's a good one.
You
Yeah.
get stay tuned for an announcement like within an hour, I guess.
Yeah.
You don't have to play the series in order, but if you'd like to, you'll find the
that's a
first
good
two
move for the
games
bundle.
bundled in the MetaQuest
I
store for
have not heard of
40%
this
off
series.
for a limited time. That's not all Shell Games is working on. They made a promise at last year's showcase.
I feel like the energy of this
3
room's
games
off.
over the next
Yeah,
2 years.
it is.
We're in a
It's-
spa or
Hot off the
something.
press,
Yeah.
let me introduce you to Silent Slayer, Vault
It's like
of the
part
Vampire.
reality, part metaverse.
Silent Slayer is a single-player horror game that'll bring you face-to-face with slumbering vampires.
Oh no.
And as you might guess from the title, stealth is key to survival.
God, now I
Shell
just keep
Games
thinking
puts it,
everything she's gonna say is,
silence is
and I
golden.
used to be a vampire.
No, Jake, no.
Let's take a peek.
It ends with, and I used to be an Oculus
I-
MetaQuest host.
Oh.
Gently. At last,
I was thinking Resident Evil.
aim for the
book.
center of the chest.
Or Eternal Darkness, maybe.
And do not be gentle.
Okay. A tease.
That can't be it. No, that's it.
Nope.
I retract
Yeah.
my statement. Okay, that was a weird one.
Oh, yeah.
That was nothing.
All right, presenter. How are you gonna pick this one up?
Ghostbusters.
At last year's
Okay.
showcase, we revealed Ghostbusters: Rise of the Ghost
Oh,
Lord.
Tom, you're a few
And
seconds
then
ahead,
I
Tom.
got to drive
Yeah,
off
I'm
gonna
into the
slow down.
sunset in the iconic Ecto-1. For this year's
Okay.
show, Sony Pictures VR and N-Dreams put together a little dossier on the Ghost Lord himself. Who is he, and how did he get to be so mean?
How do the
Along
Ghostbusters
the way,
keep
we'll
getting
get a
new
glimpse of the
video
West
games?
Coast's first Ghostbusters agent.
Who is
Yeah,
their
I don't know.
agent?
Some
It's
iconic San
unbelievable.
Francisco
I don't know.
landmarks,
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just
and
Greg
the
Miller
spirits
buying
and
all of them, I
specters that
think.
you'll be
Right,
talking
yeah.
about with your friends. Let's take a look.
Alright, they're going to the trailer now, Tom. Just FYI.
Yeah, I just had the logo pop up. So
Okay, I did just now.
Yeah, me too.
All the ghosts. Okay, the ghost having the Oculus set on is.
Yep, that's
You
good.
think
That's
you
good
know
stuff.
the whole story of the Ghostbusters. Well, you don't know my story. 1984. My research brought me to Columbia University, where I studied under the Ghostbusters. They dismissed my work, called it dangerous. But in San Francisco, I can show them. With its
What's
untapped
with Planet of the
cauldron of the
Apes
undead.
stuff happening here?
Where others saw fear, I saw subjects. How could I know my research would stir a dormant evil? The Ghost Lord. Alcatraz. Tortured souls whose guilt I could drain and drain again. Their pain,
Weird
the
choice
price
in
of
first
progress.
Ghost
My
to see.
Yeah.
distant Kate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually disturbing.
Soon everyone will understand.
The rest looked
Especially
okay.
you,
Yeah.
Ghostbusters, with your silly powder
Oh, if you
tricks.
could do this in co-op.
You will see the progress
Oh, I imagine
have
it
made.
has to be.
Know the power I have harnessed. You will realize that I, Gustav Hookfather, am the genius who gave the world endless clean energy. The Ghost Lord is coming. What have I brought upon the world? The time of the Ghost Lord is here.
Alright, the music brought me back in.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how it's different from like the Ghostbusters game we played last fall. It's like,
Yeah. It's VR now.
I guess.
check this out.
Oh,
She used
The
to be a
team let me into the
Ghostbuster.
San Francisco
Yeah, I mean, look at
Ghostbusters
it, yeah.
HQ a little early, and it's still under construction, but I've got my proton pack, my PKE meter, and I know exactly who I'm teaming up with to take out the Ghost Lord. Because if there's one thing you could say about me, is that I ain't afraid
That
of
would be
no
an
ghost.
amazing special edition headset.
I would give
Anyway,
anything to be the
When we
presenter
asked
at
one
something like
home
this.
sub,
Anything.
developers of Rocket
Oh
MX,
my god,
what's
this is
something
the
players
most
will
fun thing
love
in the
about your
world.
new game? They said,
I've got
"You
my
can lose an
PKE
arm,
meter.
Then pick it back up and bash your enemies with it. There you go. Underdogs is a physics-based brawler where you wrap yourself in your
I
5-ton
sense
gorilla
Gang
back
Beast,
I was thinking that.
and
Gang
race
Beast,
to
baby.
Oh.
the 22nd century mech fighting capital of the world.
Mech
Take on
fighting.
whatever the pitmasters throw your way and upgrade your mech to be even more fearsome. But remember,
Oh,
the more you climb the ranks, the more every lowlife in the city will be gunning for you. So
Aw,
get ready
guns.
to claw your way up the food chain.
Real quick, Real Ship wants to see the new Among Us VR map. It's
That is
possible,
a
but I
good-
wouldn't expect it.
it's a good prediction though.
It is. It's a great prediction.
Yo, this city ain't never gonna let two base boys like us in. Nah, this the jungle out here, bruv. If we wanna get into New Braca,
Yo, nice
we're
man.
gonna have to fight like fucking animals.
Remember Riggs?
Never heard of that. one.
Riggs?
Riggs. PSVR launch title Riggs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is it good?
It was motion sickness inducing, but if you ever watch the remake of the Jumanji movie, in the main character's bedroom, he has a massive Riggs poster.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Probably the only one in existence.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jake. For me, nothing tops the Spider-Man-like game for motion sickness-inducing.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was even a thing. Something is weird about this game's like it's like hard to read what's going on.
Yeah.
The colors and stuff.
Maybe it's different when you're playing it, but
Yeah, good point.
it's like red and yellow are the keys, and then everything else is just dark.
Yeah, they're going with that shadowy. Yeah.
Roxas, I would not expect Half-Life Alyx on Quest 2. I don't think it could run it.
Yeah.
I'll have a Quest 3, to be honest, but maybe. That'd be amazing, though. That should
Last
Why is
week's
it
show,
called-
we revealed
why is that called
NFL Pro
Underdogs?
Era, the first
I didn't get that
NFL
sense
and
from it.
NFLPA
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
licensed
nor I.
VR football sim.
Oh,
like you were
this
more
launched.
The games launched
This
last
launched
October.
on
You've
PSVR
completed
2,
over 3
and
million
apparently
NFL seasons
it is very
and
bad.
unlocked over 9
Yeah,
million
that's
trophies.
unfortunate.
But
Yeah.
what's next? Here to tell you is Status Pro president and co-founder and former NFL wide receiver Andrew Hawkins.
Oh, Andrew Hawkins, though.
Pro was to give people the experience of being NFL QB1.
I don't know who that
Rush of
is.
stepping on the field and leading
Follow
their
some
favorite
football.
NFL
I don't know
victory.
who he is.
Yes.
The positive response we got from our community was overwhelming, but that was just the beginning. Later this year, we're upping the game with the next evolution of NFL Pro Era. This year is all about showing the world what you've got. With the new version of NFL Pro Era, we're expanding multiplayer so you and your best friend can pit your favorite teams against each other and see who comes out on top.
I remember when the
There's
Dreamcast
a world
version
of
of
competition out
whatever
there,
their
and we
football,
wanna see how
2K
our
football,
community's
whatever,
QB skills
had like
stack
a
up.
first-person
There
mode.
are a lot more to share
And that
though
seemed
between
like
now and launch.
a big deal
New
at the time.
features,
Yeah.
new modes. This
Oh,
is more
man.
than a roster update. The next version of NFL Pro Era will build on last year's game in so many cool ways, and we cannot wait to get it in your hands. Check us out on social. We posted a lot of community and game updates there before we launch this fall. This is really cool, by the way.
Thanks, Hawk. All right, moving on from the field to the court. Back in December, Resolution Games, creators of Blastin' and
I used to be a
Demio,
football player.
revealed their latest project.
No more.
An all-new
They were
sport
largely
designed
talking about a
exclusively
game
for
that's
VR.
already out and still
showed-
showed no
It showed
footage.
nothing,
Play
yeah.
pickup matches
That-
with
ew.
people all around
That
the
was very
world.
awkward.
Or just
Yeah, I
hang
played
out and
Demio
socialize
and I liked
courtside
it.
with
So
your
let's see
friends
what's
in this one-of-a-kind sports
what we do
complex.
next.
Here's a new look at Racket Club.
Oh, a different type of court. I was expecting basketball court.
Oh, see, that'd be fun.
Imagine like a NBA Jam like game VR.
Oh, are they playing
Yes.
pickleball?
You might. Yeah, that's a small court.
Yeah.
No, that's just
Guys,
tennis.
it's
Okay.
racquetball. Get with the program.
Is it racquetball
I
when
don't
you have isn't it a wall?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Should be Jai.
Whoa, that is a really small court.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize. That's weird. Yeah.
This feels like the ball would never hit the ground ever.
Yeah.
No, we gotta start pushing for Jai in VR. That feels like a super beginner mode.
Racket Club.
That
See,
was
instead of a game, you just go into the Meta Hub and you walk over to the Racket Club. That would rip. Yeah.
At our debut gaming showcase, I premiered the launch trailer for Wraith: The Oblivion Afterlife.
I premiered. Wow, pride, dude.
Superhero game set in the world of darkness. And today, we're diving back into the world of supernatural horror with an all-new adventure RPG, Vampire: The Masquerade Justice.
It was a vampire game I was thinking of
But not the
earlier.
menace you see on postcards. You are a vampire, comfortable in the city's darkest shadows. Hide in plain sight. Drink the blood of mortals and use your vampiric
actually see gameplay
abilities
of this
to
vampire
become
game?
the ultimate judge of the
I
guilty.
want.
So, without further ado, let's sink our teeth into the debut trailer for Vampire.
All right,
the
I looked up
Masquerade
the host. She is a high-level exec over it. She's actually doing stuff, so that's how it's not just
Yeah.
like an actor. Yeah,
I figured she was.
yeah,
That's cool. I did not realize that.
yeah.
Venice. Italy.
Be a
Felt like I was
stealth
back on
vampire.
square one.
I love stealth. I feel like stealth is underutilized in VR.
Yeah.
Peeking around a corner
Exactly,
in VR,
yeah,
always a
that's-
good experience.
Yep.
Well, the best was in Half-Life Alyx when you're like coughing from the fumes and you have to cover your mouth
to get
or
dragged
else
into
they
this.
can't hear you.
You against
Whoa, that's
Jeff.
cool.
Jeff, right?
But the guilty
Yeah, that's
must
Jeff.
be punished.
Jake, you have to see Jeff one day.
You do well to remember that. Because if you don't,
So like, what's the game? Like, what are you
Very
doing?
uncomfortable.
Yeah, they're not really illustrating stealth much in this trailer. Maybe
You're
'cause
just
stealth
skulking
is kinda
around.
boring.
You're just being a vampire. Cause I'm into that. You know, sun's coming up.
Yeah.
Oh God.
What more do you
Next,
need?
an adventure that
You would have to
never
race
needs
back
end.
to get back
This
to
one is special to me.
inside your
It's
coffin.
developed by Othergate, a studio co-founded by 4 VR veterans who I used to work with for years on the Oculus Studios team on our very first and super popular franchise, Dead and Buried. I know firsthand that these guys are masters at making fun multiplayer games, and I am honored to announce their next project, Dungeons of Eternity. This 1 to 3 player dungeon crawler generates levels from hundreds of unique chambers, so no 2 trips are the same. You'll explore dark crypts, ruined castles, and deep caverns. Battle monstrous enemies with melee and magic, solve puzzles, avoid traps, gather loot, escape back to safety, level up, and then do it all over again in a brand new dungeon. Take a look.
Maybe I just missed all those stealth games, level 1-3. I haven't been keeping up with it too much recently. Apparently there's a lot of stealth now, so my bad. I like hitting the shield.
Yeah, it's good.
So it looks like it has some potential.
Yeah, throwing weapons like Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah. And it looks like they've got multiplayer.
Oh, this is great.
I've been playing a roguelike game on PSVR 2 that I'm like obsessed with. Definitely a GOTY contender for me.
Oh, really?
So something like this I'm totally interested in, yeah. Oh wait, Tom, here's my vampire game. It's called Indoor Vampire. You spend the whole night trying to figure out where you're going to take shelter during the daytime.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to get enough money to get a hotel room, something like that. You're trying to get
You're just like a pickpocket vampire.
Yeah.
You're just trying to
okay,
survive.
I could get this person to invite me to their house. I could stay there for the day. You know?
Yeah, like lowly vampire.
Classics waiting in the
It's like I just want to surf on your couch during the day, man.
You're like a
You're trying to get across the country or something.
Pacifist survivor.
Yeah. That's
Something
good.
a little spooky.
Vegetarian
I think we
vampire.
have one like that.
Okay. Probably not a kayaking VR game.
This is how Walking Dead opened as well. The game.
Based on the classic
Oh,
bestseller.
it's that Tears of the Kingdom ability. Inverse, whatever. The time thing.
Recall?
Recall, thank you.
I'm here to help.
What a struggle.
There are many like me here, trapped in this house.
Yeah, Send would work great in VR because it teleports you.
Each night, the guests arrive.
Stauf, what do you want? Show yourself!
The seventh guest.
Well, that is a logo.
Yeah. That's an intense logo.
Yeah.
Is it meant to look like a
The
person
seventh
or something?
guest.
I don't know. It's
Mostly known for
weird.
ushering
Yeah.
in The CD-ROM era.
Oh, don't
once
do
upon a
this.
time.
Don't define the
But
CD.
it's a great puzzle adventure
Oh
game.
God.
And it's cool to see Vertigo Games and Vertigo Studios Rotterdam staying true to the original.
It's
but
like some of you
reimagining
might
it
have
for a new
skipped
era.
CDs.
Using volumetric video to capture the live
Yeah, Rox
action
is like,
performances
no,
of
don't age me
actors
like that, right,
who tell the
Roxas?
game's story.
I'm offended.
They're also fully
It's okay, they can
recreating
come back
the
like
iconic
records.
mansion in 3D for the first
Yeah.
time. Just don't be surprised if it starts changing shape around you. It is haunted after all. In addition to The Seventh Guest, Vertigo is working on Arizona Sunshine 2, a sequel to one of the most popular games from VR's early days.
Yeah, I meant to play that one.
This
never got
one
around to
people
it.
have been waiting to see for a long time, including me. You might have seen the CG reveal recently, but today we have another short teaser for you.
I was about to say, I was like, it was at the
Hello
PlayStation
to your
Showcase,
old pal
actually.
Freddy. And hello to a new friend as well.
Jake, you've seen this. No spoilers. No.
Yeah. I was about to say, I'm like, pretty sure this is the same shot.
Why does this look so much better than all the other games?
Allow me to show you how it's done.
Oh, this is not how it looks.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's gonna do. Watch and learn. What the? Get a room. You know that only counts as one.
Show gameplay.
Yeah.
In Arizona Sunshine 2, you'll survive the desolate waste of Arizona with your new best friend, Buddy, who you
Just
can trust. to
riding
have
off
your back,
Arizona like that.
even when Freddy's are
Yeah,
What a
just real
wasteland.
life Arizona.
Arizona Sunshine 2 launches later this year.
I lived in Arizona
So be
once.
sure to check out the game's extended CG reveal trailer if you haven't already. Okay. Last November, Netflix and Tender Claws revealed that the hit series Stranger Things is coming to VR. I hope you're comfortable in the Upside Down, because you're going to be spending a lot of time there. In this chilling psychological horror experience, you are Vecna, invading people's minds and conjuring up their worst nightmares as you look to take revenge on Eleven and her friends.
Wow, assuming a lot about your
Stranger
Stranger
Things
Things
VR comes to
knowledge right
MetaQuest
now.
store later
Yeah.
this year. And here,
It is one of the
Never
most popular
watched.
Netflix shows, Jake. We're just out of the loop.
Okay, all right.
I watched season 1.
They cracked down on account sharing, so it's over for me. It's over.
Saw and used to realize my potential, to transcend my human form, to become the predator I was always born to be.
Oh my god. I just don't understand, like, oh, we're doing a Stranger Things game, and then you show this thing that is not at all what anybody is like wanting out of a Stranger Things game.
What would you
I just don't get it. I don't know. Just like get on a bike, hang out with some
Yeah.
kids, go to the arcade. Like, come on, guys. Yeah.
Exactly what I'm thinking.
Like more story, more detective based, do you think?
Yeah, just hanging out with the buddies, the characters you like. Ooh, play some Dungeons and Dragons with your pals. Like make it like Life is Strange.
Now, Jake, this could just be what they thought people want to see in a trailer. Maybe the actual game is like
Next,
that.
Right.
But it
it's
probably
time
isn't.
to strap into your omnidirectional mobility gear and prepare to fight the unthinkable. Attack on Titan is a best-selling manga series. Acclaimed
I guess
anime
none of us got that
adaptation,
reference.
And now, thanks to the team at Universe, an exhilarating VR game. Attack on Titan VR Unbreakable lets you join the Scout Regiment and go head-to-head
Seeing
with
a
the
Titan in
Titans
VR would be pretty
themselves.
impressive, I think.
Swing
It would
through
look
the air
huge.
using your ODM gear and take down enemies many times your size as you try to protect the last vestiges of humankind. Some of you may already be familiar with this game because we teased it late last year, but you didn't
I
get
wonder
to see
if it looks more
game's
horrifying than
dynamic,
the boss in the,
high-flying
what is it?
battles. Today you
Thumper or?
Oh yeah, Thumper. Oh, that Jake, you need to play Thumper if you haven't already. That game's awesome in VR.
Cool.
What? What are you saying?
Footsteps?
Oh, okay, yep, called it.
Yeah, okay.
Running on the roof.
This is how you get sick in VR.
This is really something.
It's got a chance, so they've slowed down the movement a bit on the graphics, so. But it is very much.
Oh, there's a game in Oculus where you're web slinging around a lot. I kind of like this. I forget what it's called. Whoa.
How are you controlling where you're shooting your grapples if you have swords in both of your hands?
It could be on rails.
Oh, could be on rails.
No, I don't think I can be on rails. Well, maybe. I don't think so.
Do you think they just find something forward and you're just always going forward? You know what I mean?
That's possible, yeah.
Yeah.
Then you open the sky, you wait, you can choose a new point.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Back in 2011, Polish developer People Can Fly, the creators behind Outriders and Painkiller, introduced the world to skill shots.
I think they did Bulletstorm
Blast
too.
an enemy out of the air, skill shot. Kick him into a cactus, skill shot. Crush somebody under a hot dog cart. You get the idea.
You okay, Jake?
Now imagine how creative you could get with that system in VR.
I didn't realize we were in the middle of like a setup punchline thing, and
It threw me off
just
too.
caught me off
in
guard.
VR.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, I said Bulletstorm.
Wow, it's
here,
literally
Bulletstorm
Bulletstorm. Yeah.
All right, see, visually this one looks pretty good.
Yeah, agreed. I expected more skill shots, if I'm being honest.
After all the setup, yeah, right?
Yeah, I this is just, I don't know.
Standard stuff.
Yeah.
More like unskilled shots.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think bosses are neat.
Yeah, they're always neat. I'm still impressed by that crab in Labo VR, Tom. The one that jumps out at you in the shooting game.
Yeah, I remember.
One of my favorite things in VR is pointing a gun at something that you're not looking at and shooting it and knowing you got it.
This is
Yeah,
a
that's a
story
good
we
Yeah,
all
yeah.
know and love. Every skill shot, every story beat, fully recreated from the ground up for VR. And for the first time, you'll actually be able to handle an energy leash, deliver devastating blows, and mow down hordes of mutated enemies. So book your ticket to the planet Stygia for later this
I
year.
think Bulletstorm was quite
And thanks
vulgar.
to People Can
Just
Fly
like,
and Incubo
Oh, really?
for bringing such a fun project to life.
For the first time, you can handle an
Before we
energy
start talking
leash.
about our final game,
That was a
I know what that
line
means.
in
I
this.
know you've been
I don't.
waiting for
Who
an
knows
update
what that
on
means?
Assassin's
Oh,
Creed
God.
in VR. And I have good
Ooh.
news. Assassin's Creed Nexus is coming to the MetaQuest store by the end of the year. Tune into Ubisoft Forward on June 12th.
Can't keep
for
track
the
of
full
Assassin's
reveal
Creeds
of
anymore.
Assassin's Creed Nexus.
Oh, that's why they announced
All
the
right.
Ubisoft thing today
I
too.
promised
right?
you a deep dive. Let's get into it. In
Oh.
2019, Asgard's Wrath took us on an epic journey across the fabled 9 realms of Norse mythology. That journey ended here, imprisoned in this very tavern by the trickster god Loki. But Destiny has more in store for you. From Sanzaru Games and Oculus
Destiny?
Studios, this is the world premiere of Asgard's Wrath 2.
Chaos is spreading. Loki's evil invades all realms.
He must be stopped.
Betrayal has made you stronger, Guardian.
No more war pigs have the power. Hand of God has struck the hour.
I like that the player held up that sword just for like the feeling, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
You know, it's a
Well, I
small
wonder-
moment sometimes, Jake.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Well, like with the reins on the horse, will you actually have to do that?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Exact your vengeance.
And unleash your wrath.
You know what? I bet this is actually pretty fun. It like looks like a real video game.
It
you
actually
know?
does, yeah.
Yeah.
And they demonstrated a few more things, benefits of VR in this trailer compared to some of the other ones.
There's a lot going on.
Flicking
Like
the head off the weapon. That was
Yeah.
the horseback stuff.
Asgard's
seemed cool.
Wrath 2 is an all-new standalone adventure in this epic series. Freed from prison by the Weavers of Fate, you'll set out on a new quest across time and space. From the Norse realms
Whoa.
to the deserts of ancient Egypt.
How does she do
How'd
it?
she do that?
Here
Yeah.
on the Great Sand Sea, you'll once again battle gods
That's
and
VR,
creatures
guy.
of myth to stop Loki from
I was a time
upending
traveler
all of
once.
creation.
You know, we
When
haven't
the
seen any
original Asgard's
XR
Wrath
yet,
released
or
on
M
PC
or
VR, it
M
wowed
whatever she said
players
earlier.
with
MR.
its jaw-dropping
yeah.
scale,
MR.
You're
brutal
right.
physics-based
Yeah.
combat,
Well, I guess it
and
can't
stunning
because
graphics.
she said everything's coming to both
Asgard's Wrath
Quest 2
2
and
will
3.
set a whole new standard for wireless VR.
Oh.
This is the deep and immersive action RPG that you've been waiting for. Packing enormous, free-roaming environments, gorgeous visuals, and well over 60 hours
Surprisingly,
of
they haven't
exploration
said
and
much
intense
about
combat
Quest 3. Like, this will
with
look better on
MetaQuest
Quest
2
3 or
and
anything like
MetaQuest
that.
3.
Yeah, they're kind of.
Today, my friend Matt
guess they just don't
Kramer,
want to cut off
head
the
of
legs
design
off
at
Switch
Sanzaru
or,
Games, will
Quest
take
2.
us on a tour of the team's groundbreaking title. Everything you're about to see was captured in-game. Matt, the mic's yours.
What was it
Thanks, Ray.
captured on
I'm
MetaQuest
so
2 or
excited
3?
to show everyone what we've been working
You know?
on with Sanzara these last few years. Asgard's Wrath 2 picks up where the first game left off, in a mysterious tavern you can't escape from. You're suddenly thrust into battle with a giant creature, clearly from another realm. Just when you think all is lost, you encounter the Weavers of Fate, a trio of beings that set you off upon your adventure to find and stop Loki. So just how much bigger is this game? Not only will you travel through new Asgardian locations, like Muspelheim, the Land of Fire, the Weavers of Fate will also bring you to new realms, like the vast desert expanse of ancient Egypt. These massive worlds
Arizona.
beyond the scope
The wasteland
of
of
any other
Arizona.
game on the MetaQuest platform come alive in Asgard's Wrath 2. Dotted with temples, caves and dungeons.
Caves are big
characters to
right
meet,
now.
Games are big right now.
Monsters to
I feel
battle.
like even just the Norse mythology, I'm kind of like,
quests
yeah, I
and side
know.
quests, wildlife, crafting resources, mini games, and more. This is a living world you can roam and explore freely. The most expansive of these worlds is the Great Sand Sea, full of hidden treasures and unique events.
Don says
You
he
could
spoke
spend
to this guy
hours
for
upon
Sonic Boom
hours
3DS.
exploring this map
Oh, wow.
and still
Nice.
not discover all its secrets. You might decide to prove your combat prowess by hunting rare, high-level monsters that roam the sands. Or gather
Did he
plants,
pull that? Did he
ore,
pull
and
that
animal
claw
parts
down with
to
the little
craft
rope? Is that what
useful
happened right there?
consumable
Looks
goods,
like it.
That was pretty
such
cool.
as
Yeah, that was
bait
neat.
to attract
This game
wildlife,
actually looks legit.
or a ward
Yeah.
that provides a temporary.
I wanna know what you can do with that
benefit
duck.
wherever you throw it.
Yeah.
But it's not all about survival.
Oh, fishing.
Kick back
Yes,
and
take
fish.
that, Tears of the Kingdom.
Or beat
Yeah,
your
for
high
real.
score at the slingshot shooting gallery.
The VR player actor
There's
is doing
no
a great
shortage
job.
of stuff
He's
to
really
do and see
dramatizing all
outside
of his
the
movements.
primary
I like
quest
it.
line. These worlds are so big,
That was cool.
you're going to want some more speed as you move through them. Luckily, you'll have the power of a god at your fingertips.
From Resident Evil 4 VR, you
As
definitely
with
have to kind of
Asgard's
act
Wrath,
out
you'll be able
things
to
for
transform
gameplay. You can't just
brave
play
animals into
as you
unique
would.
warrior followers to help you solve puzzles and eviscerate enemies.
Nice.
New in this game, they'll serve as powerful mounts that can carry you swiftly across the massive
just
realms
pet the
of
kitty.
Asgard's Wrath 2. Of course, what's fast on foot or mount can look very different to a god. Like Asgard's Wrath, you'll also see the world from the god-scale perspective and use your cosmic powers to manipulate the mortal world around you. Reach inaccessible
weird.
areas, solve puzzles, and more.
First Sky Islands and now Tears of the Kingdom fusing.
You can't save the world alone, though. Egypt is full of would-be heroes who need your godly
Possess?
assistance to enter the realm of legend. Each
Cool.
hero in Asgard's Wrath 2 is completely unique. Different weapons, different skills and abilities, and different strengths. By
Maybe this
possessing
is
these
a dumb
heroes, you
question,
can help
but
them
couldn't you just
fulfill
do
their
something
destinies
like that's this
and get
game,
closer to yours
but
as
it's
well.
Star Wars? Like, why aren't the
The
Star
first
Wars
of these
people like
heroes
jumping
is
all over
Abraxas,
something like this?
That's a good
A
point.
cynical
You
tomb
know?
robber with a grudge against the gods.
Well, you get to ask
You and
us about a lot
Abraxas
of what
make an
they're doing Star
unlikely
Wars
pair.
these days.
Yeah,
But
that's
you
true.
have to work
Yeah.
together to take down fearsome enemies like the bloodthirsty goddess Sekhmet. Abraxas seeks vengeance against Sekhmet for the murder of his father. With his boomerang axe, whip sword, and
Boomerang
bladed
axe.
shield at your command,
Nice.
he'll stop at nothing to defeat her. Combat was one of the aspects players loved
This has
most
to be. This
about
has to be
Asgard's Wrath,
like Oculus 3
us
gameplay.
included.
It looks too good, I think.
It was
Too.
vicious and brutal. Whether swinging a sword, throwing an axe,
It's an
or
axe that
even
comes
using
back,
your
like
fist,
God of War. No,
the
no, no.
combat made you feel
This is
It's
a
a
boomerang
boomerang
axe.
axe. You've heard them,
Yeah.
Jake.
Come on.
Yeah, doesn't quite top
In the
my
first
boomerang
game,
mop
the combat
from
favored
Tears
a
of the Kingdom.
defense-first approach, meaning you had to block and parry a series of enemy attacks before you had a chance to remove their runic shields. This loop had to be completed 3 or 4 times before you could start damaging an enemy. In Asgard's Wrath 2, our updated combat system is centered around player choice. Nothing is holding you back. You can chip away at enemy shields.
I like that kind of
through a
cop into
flurry
like,
of
listen,
attacks,
first
or
game
laying
combat
skilled
made some
parries
mistakes.
Trigger opportunity windows that let you cut through your
Yeah, it's
enemy's
better. Look at
defenses
this. It's
with
great.
ease. We've also expanded the systems to include elemental types for a greater degree of player customization and wider variety amongst enemy archetypes.
Yo, that
This
was a
time,
nice kill. That was
we have a
cool.
full physics system implemented for weapons, with swords, axes, bows, staffs, and more at your disposal. You can find a combat style that's right for you. But you'll need to change up your approach, as enemies will now react to your every movement and switch up their own attacks. You'll also unlock new skills and
Back and
abilities
forth
as you
there.
level up, letting you invest further in the weapons you use most.
Do the stone surge.
Unlock powerful abilities and super
Nice.
attacks to truly change the game. Nothing feels better than seeing your weapons soar into the air and rain down on a horde of enemies. You'll also discover relics you can slot into your weapons and armor that will provide you with powerful buffs. Like adding
This
fire
game's winning me
damage to your
over.
weapon
This is I'm
will heal
interested
over
actually.
time,
It looks fun.
allowing you to customize your weapon set against each
It looks
enemy
like
you
a
face.
complete experience.
But you won't
Yeah,
be the
yeah.
only one leveling up. Your animal followers have their own skill trees
Not a
that
fan
will
of skill
grow in
trees, though.
power the
Still not a
more
fan.
you spend time with
Yeah.
them. Even with an upgraded companion and all these powers at your disposal, don't think the enemy AI will go
Nice.
easy on you. As you level up, so will they, gaining new abilities, smarter tactics, sneaky counters, stronger armor, powerful
That's kinda
super
cool.
attacks,
Enemies actually,
and
like, get
relics to use
smarter.
against you.
Yeah.
over the course of the game.
Some will even heal each other, boost each other's
Okay, well,
damage,
screw the healing enemies.
or
Yeah,
call
no,
for
no, no.
reinforcements.
Just gotta kill that guy
You'll
first.
have to use all the strength, endurance, speed,
Whoa.
and
Oh,
quick thinking
man.
you can muster to forge a path through the ravenous enemies that lay between you and
Yo,
your
is he
destiny.
shooting
Oh,
blades? What the?
that was dope. Yeah, nice.
For a true challenge and the opportunity to earn bragging rights amongst your friends.
Man, this
you
game's
can
got a lot
step
going
into
on.
the
Yeah, it
Uncharted
does.
Rifts,
It is crazy.
an
Are we in the
infinitely
depths?
replayable dungeon
We're in the
crawling world
depths.
with exclusive
Wow.
loot that you can take back with you into the main
Man, I'm really
campaign.
impressed with like it
The
feels like
rifts
all the
are
weapons
always
and stuff
open,
have multiple
so you
things
can
you can
visit
do with
it
them.
any
Yeah.
point
Sometimes he's
during
throwing
or
it,
even
swinging
after
it,
the
using it as a
campaign.
whip, like
And put your
activating
skills
special
against some of
abilities.
the
It's pretty sick.
toughest time-limited
Pulling up other
challenges
weapons.
the rifts
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to offer. Face increasingly ferocious enemies as you delve
Don says you
deeper
should get the
into
original
these
try, Jake.
endless
He'd like it.
labyrinths.
Oh man,
Encountering
all right,
the ghosts
cool.
of players who fell victim to the rifts before you. Whether friend or foe, these
Yo,
characters
that's
will
a
be part
great
of your
idea for
dungeon.
how to activate that,
Yeah.
pull them
Hindering your
through.
progress.
That's such a
awesome.
Survive
man,
long
nice,
enough,
good
and you'll
design.
earn a spot on the leaderboards. And those precious
He already
bragging
needs more
rights.
handshaking.
The Uncharted Rifts are deep and full of mystery. They're almost like a whole game on their own. And we've barely scratched the
really
surface
is
of
the depths.
all the unique dangers you'll encounter.
Nice.
Yes, fist bumping.
I hope that this first look at
That should be a new
Asgard's
Twitter
Wrath
account.
2
Can you
has
fist
you
bump the dude?
excited.
Yeah,
We've
that's a
got
good
so
one.
much more to show you. More heroes, more companions.
This game is
more
endless.
gods,
This
Loki
game's-
Yeah,
anomalies.
I'm
I
impressed.
can't wait to show you
It's
more.
like that was the whole game.
Back to you, Ruth.
Yeah, Roxas, I agree. That's a content complete VR game. It seems like that's
Yeah.
impressive.
Okay.
That's more of what they
Now
need.
head over to the MetaQuest store because pre-orders of Asgard's Wrath 2 are open. Pre-order and you'll get a copy of the original Asgard's Wrath on PC. You don't have to play it before, but it'll add some fun context. You'll also get immediate access to the Great Sand Sea home environment I'm standing in now, and unlock an exclusive Asgard's Wrath 2 themed character, as well as the title of Cosmic Guardian in Population 1. And once Asgard's Wrath 2 launches later this year, those who pre-ordered will get access to the Sword of Ra and the Sun God's battle armor.
Where are we going now? Where's she taking us?
That's the end of
Oh,
our
back to
main
the-
showcase.
back to the
Stick
wellness
around
center.
for more, because up next, we have some of the most passionate VR creators sitting down to discuss the games from the show. And while you're there, we're running a sale on favorites like NFL Pro Era, Resident Evil 4, Bone Lab, Among Us.
Jake, you should play
and
Resident Evil 4
many more.
VR if you haven't.
And like last
Oh, I'm
year,
waiting for the
we're
PSVR
also giving
2.
away
Oh,
this
okay.
awesome
The-
real
yeah,
life
yeah.
Oh,
Standing
for the
In.
remake.
It's available
Yeah,
now
yeah.
in settings under
You
home
should play the
environments.
superior original version.
Of course, there's so much more we want to share with you.
Whoa, okay.
We plan to announce more games, major updates to existing titles, and we've got a whole new headset to launch. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and thanks to the developers who helped put this show together. Keep playing, and we'll see you next year.
All right. Well, what do we think of that?
I mean, Asgard's Wrath looks cool.
Yeah,
it
that looks
just,
really good.
it didn't. Them announcing that headset and then doing this showcase, it feels like they're disconnected.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
be in so much trouble if this leaks.
Oh.
This actually looks a lot like Quest 6. The Ecto 1? Oh yeah, that's still parked at my
Outtakes.
place. No, they're not getting it back.
She made the same joke you did, Tom, earlier, basically.
Long have I guarded this.
Is this all?
Hi,
Whoa.
everyone.
Okay.
I'm Travis Williams.
All right, we're gonna mute that.
Yeah.
Continue, Jake.
Yeah, it didn't feel like, oh, here's like a new step in the VR world, like a step in a forward direction. It felt like more of a lateral move.
Right.
It felt like, hey, I haven't talked about VR stuff in a while. Here's some. You remember that game? It's got a big sequel, and and there wasn't really anything here that was like new or eye catching or really like a oh man, I hadn't thought about that. So yeah, so it was kind of a weird showcase, but not a bad showcase.
No, it wasn't
Just
bad.
a little weird.
Yeah. I mean, for me, what was it? Asgard's. What's it called again? The final game we saw.
Asgard's Wrath.
Asgard's
Yeah.
Wrath. Yeah. That
Yeah.
looked good. They actually did a really good job, I think, showcasing the different elements, and it got me interested. I felt like after the Samba de Amigo opening, it kind of dipped though. Like that game looks great to me. Like I'm a huge Samba de Amigo fan. That made me excited. Fun way to start. But then I have already forgotten most of the rest in there, like the beginning and the end, and then there's a lot of stuff in the middle that I don't even remember much about. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a sandwich. It was like a great beginning, great ending, middle like maybe there's Ghostbusters in there at some point, like but it didn't bomb, I would say. I mean, it
no,
was good, but it didn't push VR forward, like Jake was saying.
I think.
So
Go ahead.
you know what? I was just seeing some additional details that are coming out now that this is over. And one thing that I think we might have passed over. Remember the game with the weird logo, the Seventh Guest?
The Seventh Guest, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so apparently this is beloved by certain people, and this is an extremely old game that, like, it getting a remake is surprising and cool, and apparently it uses FMV technology, and that in a VR game is interesting.
FMV, the way you
Like
said that made it sound like state of the
full
art.
motion video?
So like in VR though, I guess? So
Yeah, like human actors.
All right.
Yeah, so I wish that we could have seen some of that. There were and kind of on that note, there were a few games in this showcase that they showed up and they were like, "Here's the name, get pumped," and that you know that's never a good
I
move.
think it's where it kind of faltered a little bit, where it felt like it was maybe catering a little bit too much to existing Oculus fans when they really need to be like reaching out to people who aren't in the ecosystem. Maybe they realize we're the only ones watching, people who already have one, so maybe they know, maybe they nailed it. I don't know, but I feel like even for one who has, you know, who follows the platform to some degree, there are points where I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. You know, like what, this is a sequel to something that already happened. What? So I think they could have done a better job just making it a little bit more easier to get into without having already owned the system.
Yeah, definitely. It's also just weird. Like I saw Joey in our chat was talking about Bulletstorm, and he's really excited for that. It's one of his favorite shooters from the 360 era. I feel like there's something a little bit lost on that announcement, just because I think Bulletstorm has like been remade or re-released or HDified. Like I feel like I've just seen it so many times and never really engaged with it. So it's one of these announcements that just it feels like it's always there. So when you tell me it's coming to this new platform, I'm like, you could have told me it had been on that platform for years, and I would have been like, yeah, sure. Like and it's making me wonder about like the developers and publishers and what they choose to like push and pull on the VR platforms, just because I feel like that game in particular is typically published by Gearbox, and like the Bulletstorm brand I don't think has like a lot of power. So I don't know. Yeah, it's just kind of confusing sometimes to see what shows up and what doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know how much power it has, but it's definitely recognizable. Like like that's a name I've heard before more than most of the others here, outside of like the big brands like Ghostbusters. So I think it probably carries. I think it does have some weight. But yeah, Don mentions in the chat that apparently some of the Amigo is confirmed for just meta platform, so no PSVR 2, Jake. Sorry to say. I am excited. I want to go. I just am really excited for that one. That has me stoked. Like some of the Amigo fans are finally eating good after decades of neglect, or decade and a half, whatever it was since I'm very excited for this. So it's interesting timing with the Switch. And did they give a release date for the VR version? I don't think they did.
Of Samba? Probably not. I mean, we know that the Switch version isn't coming out until like the end of August.
Right.
And maybe that has something to do with when this VR version is coming out, because that was definitely later than I expected, especially based on my preview, which seemed like the complete finished game.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
Anything else that stood out to us? Tom, what do you want to play coming from the showcase?
It's like hard. Some of the games stood out, like that dungeon one, but then I can't remember its name. It's just
that did stick out. Yeah,
like 1 to 3 players, maybe in co-op. I think that could be a fun time. And I don't know. I was just mostly surprised they didn't try to push Quest 3 more.
Yeah,
because like what you're saying, trying to keep maybe Quest 2 sales going, and like Quest 2 had a price cut basically to bring it back down to its old pricing. Mention stuff like that, and like no mention of GTA. That was kind of surprising, but
yeah,
that Rockstar I think has power just to say whenever we're ready. And I guess Asgard's Wrath is good. I just had hoped for more big IPs coming back, or like something bigger, like Resident Evil 4 in the past, like something like that. I guess we had Ghostbusters and Stranger Things, but I don't know. I'm greedy.
Yeah, and I guess it depends on what you're a fan of already too. Like I'm not a huge Stranger Things fan, but maybe if I were, I'd be more excited for that game, even though it didn't do anything that I don't know if we fully know what that game even is right now. So Don clarifies that some of the Amigos apparently launching in fall, so that sounds like it would be after Switch.
I gotta say that by that quote, that does not assure me that it is not coming to PSVR 2. I gotta say.
Well,
I mean, it could be something else later, unless they said elsewhere it was only for that platform. But
yeah, I don't know, because it's because like it launches for those. Like it's it's also definitely the same game as the Switch version, which is not getting mentioned anywhere. So so I don't know. I don't know. I could still see it coming to those platforms, but then I think the actual weird thing would be it would just obviously come to PS5. In in its button form, right. Because since that exists, but I don't, and it'd be weird if that wasn't announced. But I don't know. Yeah, it's now I'm in this weird place after the showcase now where I'm still wondering about the MR and why that was mentioned like 3 times at the top of the show.
Of it?
No, nothing. And I think we were all kind of drawn to that from the reveal of the MetaQuest 3, that like full color pass through, the doing stuff in the real world. And then I don't know, I don't think it would have upset the audience too much if there were a couple of things that were like, hey, exclusive MetaQuest 3. Whoa, look at this game. Like, that seems like a no-brainer for me. I don't know.
It's almost like, why did they even announce it? They're not even going to talk about it at this thing.
Let's compare apples to oranges here. So maybe they rushed their announcement a bit just because of the Apple VR announcement coming soon to steal a bit of that thunder, but they're not fully cooked yet. They're still cooking something. Right. They're still getting the presentation ready, and they're going to have that a bit later, or they can react to what Apple does and do that.
Yeah. In any case, it is a fraction of the price, so that is something it has going for it.
So they've also announced that starting in 3 days, the Quest 2 will be $300. I guess that's a price cut. Does anybody know?
Well, Tom was talking about this. They had raised the price by $100. What, half a year ago at this point? So they're dropping it back down to what it was originally, but they're calling it a price cut. So
okay. I think my note for MetaQuest for future showcases is just maybe better clarity, and I think what this showcase could have used was, how sometimes in the Nintendo Directs they do like that little like schedule of the headlines.
Yeah.
I almost think something like that, just to like better like solidify. And maybe even like hold it in your head a little bit better of like what the thing is that you're watching right now, because some of those transitions in this were like were tough, and I think that maybe that could have just been a little like flagged better. Yeah.
Yep. No, I think you're right. So it was a little low energy, I think, in general. I think it could have used a little of juice, I think, to keep it a bit more engaging.
Maybe they find the juice that comes off super fake, so they don't do it. Maybe this is just like, okay, let's try to do this. It's the most real we can be. So
it's a tough rope to walk across, because I hear what you're saying. I almost feel that there was a kind of juice to this that was fake, but instead of it being like, okay, gamers, let's check out, instead of being that, it was, hello, sophisticated audience, and it was like, it's like, that's not quite it either, you know what I mean? I think there's a balance to be found where it's like, okay, let's bring it a little casual, you know what I mean? She like she, even the way she was dressed, it was very corporate, and that background we were in, that was the the $50 million wellness center. Get out of there! Get out of there!
That was a mistake. I don't know. Yeah, of all the awesome environments you can showcase in VR, they choose a wellness center. It's like, what? That's hilarious. Yeah, I think
really weird.
I mean, I think Nintendo really has Nintendo somehow figured out like the best format for these by and large, where like it's professional but it's quick and it's not it doesn't feel like it's catering or going overboard and marketing itself to a gamer demographic, but it's quick paced, keeps you engaged even when it's boring. Like it still kind of keeps you interested somehow, and that's kind of what I think not just Oculus, but the others often miss out on, is it just really comes down to pacing. So
Yeah.
pacing
cool.
and announcements. Like having obviously you need announcements too. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't bad even. Actually, it wasn't bad at all. So
Yeah.
it was decent. It shows that they're still taking the MetaQuest seriously, which is good. I'm hoping once the 3 actually comes out, they'll give the platform even more, momentum to continue forward, and maybe we'll get even more game announcements then. Maybe, I mean, it's possible that GTA is being held off for that platform. I wouldn't be surprised how like Resident Evil 4 could only run on the Quest 2. So
Yeah, cool.
all right. Any final thoughts, or are we about done here?
So when's the Apple VR thing? Is that
Monday.
soon?
Monday.
Wow. Okay.
I
All
think
right.
it's Monday. Yeah, some probably early in the morning, 10 a.m. I'm guessing. Chad might know. So
Okay, so I think it'll be interesting then if watching that, thinking about how they show the hardware, the price point they come in at, the games that they choose to lead that messaging with, because what we have here with like the Quest is a platform that like already exists, and I think is like relatively thriving and pretty successful in the space, if not the most successful platform in the space. So. And I think you kind of felt that from this presentation too. It was like pretty comfortable, and I felt like they used a lot of language that they're like, the audience knows what I'm talking about. So seeing how Apple approaches an event, their first time foray into like, boom, this is our VR thing that's supposed to challenge this thing you just watched. I think that'll be really interesting just to see how they go about it. So
yep, I fully agree.
Yeah,
with Apple. Oh, sorry, you go on.
Yeah.
With Apple, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be more of like an Apple Arcade subscription service, or actually buying the games. That's something I'd like to see.
Marketplace questions. Yeah, that's interesting, Tom. Yeah, because maybe there's something to be said for trying to get people a different way instead of trying to get them to buy games the way that we buy games on all of our other game platforms. Because you're not necessarily trying to speak to those people. You know? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Good point.
Cool. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for us here, everyone. Thank you for hanging out with us if you watched the MetaQuest Gaming Showcase. So we'll keep tabs on some of these games, I imagine, including especially Samba de Amigo for me. I got to cover that game once it's out, so excited to do so. But everyone, otherwise have a great rest of your day, and soon enough your weekend. So with that, we'll catch you later. Bye, everyone.
Gritty VR win.
Bye. Oh.